We got a great show for you guys today as we're going to be talking about a bombshell report that we got on Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson. What's going on, everybody? My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome into the Jets Report. Now, before we dive into this bombshell article that came out, I do want to get a little pulse of you guys here. If you guys are subscribed to the Jets Report, just hit me with a me down below in the comment section. I want to show some love to all the real ones that have hit that subscribe button over the last couple of weeks. And also, if you guys have not already, please go down there, hit that subscribe button. It really does help us grow this channel here. I'm trying to hit 10K subs before the start of the season, and it starts with you. So hit that subscribe button today if you guys want a Jets video every single day here on YouTube. All right, let's talk about it. So Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, they obviously had an interesting relationship, especially during the second half of the year after Davante Adams was brought in. And Zach Rosenblatt was talking about this relationship, and this is what he had to say. By the end of last season, Wilson and Rodgers weren't exactly the best of friends. A relationship that started with a promise ended with each taking subtle shots at each other in press conferences. And if you guys remember, Aaron Rodgers would openly complain about Wilson's tendencies to freelance when running routes instead of following the inch-perfect specifications that Rodgers had. This is very typical Aaron Rodgers fashion because obviously Garrett Wilson, he probably thinks he has the right to almost freelance on a couple of these routes since he is one of the better wide receivers in the league. And I felt like I feel like he always tries to compare all of the receivers he's throwing to Davante Adams. And Davante Adams is one of the best receivers, one of the most precise route runners we have ever seen. So when he sees another all-time talent like Garrett Wilson, maybe bend off the route, maybe 1 or 2 yards, sooner or later than expected, Rodgers would just get naturally frustrated. But also the receivers, they would get frustrated with Rodgers as well. Apparently, wide receivers accused Rodgers of funneling targets to Davante Adams at the expense of running the ball and targeting Garrett Wilson in the red zone. And this was very clear at the second half of the season. Once Davante Adams got there, it almost seemed like Rodgers and Davante wanted to pad their career stats together where Rodgers was just funneling the ball to him. Anytime they got in the red zone, like the play design was to get Davante Adams open instead of just playing the game of football. It almost seemed like they were playing for stats once the Jets, it was clear they weren't going to make the playoffs, which obviously, for right reason, the wide receivers got upset. And week 1 is going to be a complete movie for Jets fans. They got Aaron Rodgers returning and also Justin Fields, a revenge game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But also, I am sure the guys in that locker room that were on the team last season, they are going to be an incredibly motivated group just to kind of stick it to Rodgers. Because even though he hasn't came out and openly blasted the Jets, just little comments he has made here and there, he is just not taking any accountability for what happened. And Rodgers will never take accountability. That's just who he is. It happened when he ended his time with Green Bay. It's happening now when he ended his time with the New York Jets. And if you guys remember, we broke down this quote right here from Mark Schlereth about him and Rodgers talking about the run game. He said Aaron and I had conversations about it when he was with the Jets, how abysmal their running game was and how schematically it made no sense. I kept watching plays. There's a difference between having guys that can't block people, but having your players do things that make zero sense. Why in the world would you block this way? This scheme has zero chance of being successful. And I wonder why the run game struggled. Like Aaron Rodgers, he brought in his offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett. Todd Downing, that was a Rodgers play as well. He brought in Davante Adams. He brought in all of these guys where he was the one calling the shots. He had final say at the line of scrimmage. Like, people act like a play call just came, or Rodgers acts like the play call just came in, and he had no control over what they were going to do. It's not like he was just walking up to the line, snapping the football, and here we go. That's never been Rodgers' MO. He's always been a guy, trying to change the play at the line of scrimmage, putting his offense in an advantageous situation, but that's not what he was doing this past season. He was just trying to funnel targets to Davante Adams at the expense of the New York Jets team, and for a reason, people should be frustrated with that. And if you guys could, I kind of just want to stick at the Rodgers with this question right here. Pick a quarterback for me. Give me a JF or give me an AR for Aaron Rodgers. If you're rolling Justin Fields, type those JFs down below. But if you're a psychopath and still rock with Aaron Rodgers, give me an AR. But I do want to get you guys this quote from Nick Faria. He was just talking about that article or that quote that Mark Schlereth had, and he wrote this up. So to summarize, Rodgers was angry about the Jets' run offense, even though it was his favorite play caller with his system, and with him being allowed to audible at the line of scrimmage. And I will say Ferrier is on the money with this. Kind of like what I was saying. Like, it's not like Rodgers was getting the play call, and it's like, oh, you have to run this. Like, you had final say. You were probably the one during the meetings throughout the week, coming up with the offensive game plan, how they're going to attack a certain defense. And I think it just gets back to the Jets 100% making the right decision by letting Aaron Rodgers walk. Like, Aaron Glenn could have came in here and said, yeah, Rodgers is probably a better quarterback on paper right now than Justin Fields, but he wanted to reset the culture. He wanted to get a new feel for the New York Jets. And even though if Aaron Rodgers would have maybe given the Jets a better chance to win, let's just say one or two more games this season, I think Glenn made the right decision of just saying, hey, even if we go 6-11 this season, I'd rather go 6-11, establishing a new culture with Justin Fields compared to going, let's just say 9-8 with Aaron Rodgers, and it's kind of more of the same of what's been going on with the Jets. But also, the Jets won 5 games with Rodgers at quarterback, so I don't know if that's necessarily true that Rodgers gives them a better chance to win over Justin Fields. But this is probably my favorite quote of the show. Rodgers was talking about his meeting with Aaron Glenn, saying, "I figured that when I flew across the country on my dime," he includes that in there would be a conversation. The confusing thing to me is I went out there, I met with the coach, we started talking, he ran out of the room. I'm like, that's kind of strange. Then he comes back with the GM, and I'm like, all right. So we sit down in the office, and I think we're going to have this long conversation. I've flown across the country, and 20 seconds in, Aaron Glenn goes, so do you want to play football? And I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. And he said, we're going in a different direction at quarterback. That moment, that quote from Aaron Glenn saying that to Aaron Rodgers, that was the start of the new culture. Because he could have easily, had that conversation, hear Aaron Rodgers out, say whatever nonsense he wants to say about why he wants to return to be the quarterback for the Jets. But he decided to say, hey, we're cutting bait. We're going in a different direction. I know you are a 4-time MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, one of the best quarterbacks ever. But what you did last year and throughout his whole time with the Jets, that's not good enough. We want to go in a different direction. And Aaron Glenn, just everything he has said, he has me wanting to go try out for the Jets. Like, I want to go play for this guy. I want this guy to be my boss. I want to, just go out there and suit up for him because everything he has said, he has me ready to run through a brick wall. Couldn't be more happy with the Jets' decision to go with Aaron Glenn. And honestly, thinking back to the whole head coaching search, like obviously, Rex Ryan wanted the job. And, there are some other options here, but I definitely think the Jets got the best choice out there. Now, you could have went a more proven commodity like a Mike Vrabel, but obviously he was, signed by the Patriots right away. But I think out of all the coaches out there, I think Aaron Glenn was, maybe he won't be the best out of all that were hired this past cycle, but I think he was the best fit for the New York Jets. So let's close out today's show by showing him some love down below in the comments section. Type those AGs. No more drama with the New York Jets. It's all about football, and that starts with the head coach. And I couldn't be happier with what he has done this offseason, and I can't wait to see how it plays out on the football field. But if you guys want to show him some love, type those AGs down below, and we'll see y'all next time. As always, go Jets.